Welcome back, it's Devin with Cognito Moto, and today we're going to be talking about our R75 project. So as you can see, we're in a new location. We spent the last couple months relocating the shop into this location, so we finally got everything moved, everything set back up, and things have calmed down enough that we can get back into the build series that we have here on YouTube. You know, we've got the CV750 and the CV650. We'll get those back down and get those back into rotation here. But we need to make some space, so we're going to be auctioning off this R75 on Bring a Trailer. And so today we took it out and got some pictures and got some videos, and we're going to put it all together here in kind of a quick rundown of everything that we've done to this bike and everything that's on it. If you're new to this bike, there is an entire build series that we did when we built this bike that details, you know, how we developed everything, how we made it, or how you can do it, you know, whether it's lacing wheels or, you know, how we made the velocity stack. That's all here, and we'll link that below. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the front of the bike and kind of go through everything that's on it, and hopefully I don't miss anything. We're going to start here at the headlight. So the headlight's a Morimoto LED projector, and then we made a custom housing for it. That's made out of aluminum, and then we had it polished nickel plated, so it gives it kind of like a gold hue, but it's a polished nickel. And then we did the top knot on the triple clamp the same. The triple clamp's what we call a race clamp, and it's got a 35mm offset to make corrections to the geometry of the bike for the 17-inch wheel that we're running up front. Since the original build that we did here, we've changed the handlebars. I rode this bike. I've had back problems in the past, and so to make things a little more comfortable, I raised the bars up. Went away from the clip-ons. You could still put clip-ons on it. We didn't really change anything, or we didn't change anything at all, and the lengths are still all the same. So, you know, if you went to clip-ons, you just have to run the wires to the switches back through the handlebars, which is, you know, not a big deal. Everything else remains the same. For the grips, we've got some Biltwell Renegade grips on here with a Biltwell Whiskey throttle, and then a custom cable was made to run down to the carburetors. The handlebar is a Renthal fat bar, so it's got an 1 1/8" clamping and then 7/8 down on the controls. Brake master cylinder is from a Thruxton R, so it's a Brembo master cylinder, just like the clutch lever is from a Thruxton R, and then we made some modifications to adapt it to the BMW clutch cable. The switches are Moto Gadget push button switches, and they run back to the M Unit Blue that we're running on here. The M Unit Blue has Bluetooth, so you can make changes to, you know, the setup or how you want your turn signals to behave, and that can all be done from your phone with the Blue. Also, it has when you come within range, the Bluetooth picks it up and cuts the bike on. It doesn't turn the bike on, but it puts it to like ignition on, so the bike's not going to be running, but ignition on will be ready to go. For the key, we're using the Moto Gadget M-Lock, so it doesn't actually have a key. It has an RFID chip, and then you just touch it to it, and that's hidden up under the seat. For the forks, they're 2011 Up Gixxer forks, and then the Brembo calipers are from a Gixxer as well, and then to match it, we ran a Brembo caliper in the rear, silver matching. The front wheel is a 3.5 17 Excel rim, and that's laced to a Cognito Moto front hub, and then the tire is a Diablo Rosso. It's a 120/70/17 on the front. In the back, we've got an Excel rim as well. That's a 4 1/4 17 with a 150 tire. That's a really wide tire for this bike. In order to get that to fit, we had to notch the swing arm, and then we made some custom spacers to shift the hub a little bit over, and then which required a custom spacer for the cog and the final drive, as well as a new custom axle. The rear hub, it was custom made for disc brake, which in order to actuate the disc brake, we made these rear sets so we could put a brake master cylinder. So they're not like true rear sets where it's pushing your feet further back. It kind of keeps your feet up under your butt, and that helps keep the weight off of your wrists. But that whole kind of setup needed to be developed so that we could run the rear master cylinder. So the frame in this is not, there's no modifications made to the frame for any of this. The subframe on the rear is a bolt-on setup that we make, and it's got the integrated LED taillight. And that taillight's super bright, and it also houses your turn signal, so 1 inch off the end. It cuts it off when you turn your turn signal on. So the seat, we carved that foam here, and then we sent it off to New Church Moto, and she upholstered the seat with a diamond stitch pattern, and this is real leather. It's really soft. And it's got some details on the back side. The front fender was made by Cliff at Meyer-Built Metalworks, and then we had it painted to match the headlight and the gas tank, and that's an Aventerne green, which is a modern Porsche color. The motor is an R75 motor, and then we replaced the cylinder heads with the Siebenrock kit to get it to 1000 cc's. The heads are from an R100, so it has the roller setup, and then it has Kibblewhite valves and Kibblewhite springs and retainers. The carburetors were replaced, or they're new. They're Delorto carbs, and then we made custom velocity stack filters. And then out of the engine into the exhaust, we have a new chrome setup. So it's a steel header with its chrome plated, and then into the stainless steel Cone Engineering quiet core mufflers. So the quiet core muffler, it's still a deep tone and it gives a nice rumble, but it's not like mind-numbingly loud. So it's a nice sound. The transmission is a 5-speed transmission, and we sourced it used, and then we had it rebuilt. So everything's been refreshed. The internals and then the valves, or the seals and everything, have all been replaced. It's a new boot on the cover into the final drive as well. So coming out of the transmission, we have the Moto Gadget Speedo drive, so that reports back to the gauge. Just kind of a clean solution, so we didn't have to put a magnet and a pickup on the front end. This just bolts right into the transmission. And then next to that is the A and B aluminum brake reservoir. New pedcocks, new spark plugs, spark plug wires, all of that was all brand new. Clutch lever, clutch cables, all the wiring, all of that is freshly done as well. Oh, to hold the headlight, we have Motodemic headlight brackets, and then that holds the Moto Gadget Blaze pin turn signals, which hold the headlight bucket in place. The badges on the tank, those were original with the tank when we purchased it, so they're not perfect, but I kind of like the mix of old and new. Which also in the frame there's like a dent or an indent in it. That was there when we bought the frame. Being that we kind of sourced everything in bits and pieces, I just kind of left it. I thought it was kind of cool. Kind of tells some history to the bike. I don't know, it didn't bother me, so I just kind of went with it. So I think that covers everything that we have on this bike. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave us a comment, or you can call us or shoot us an email. Thank you.